Hey guys, welcome to goOgluCk. So now that you know how you can assign value to a variable. So let's move ahead and start our discussion with some basics of Python. So let's start with Python token. What exactly is this Python token? Python token is the smallest meaningful component, or it is a very basic component of the source code. The characters are categorized as one of the four class of tokens that describe their functions. It can be a keyword, it can be a literal. It can be identifier or it can be an operator. Fine. So let's discuss them one by one, starting with keyword. So what are these keywords? Well, these keywords are some sort of result words which are designed for a specific purpose. You cannot use a keyword as a variable name or an identified name. Some of the keywords in Python include for, if, def, break, continue, true, false, etc. You cannot use them as your variable. These words in Python have a specific purpose and have a specific meaning to it. Let's move ahead. Next is the identifier. Well, it is the name that you give to a variable or to your function or to your class. For example, if you are defining a variable a equals 10, then the word a or the variable a is defining the identifier. Well, before you start naming your variables or methods of class, you must know that there are certain set of rules or guidelines for naming and identifying. Let's see them one by one. So the first one is no character except the underscore can be used as an identifier. So what does that mean? Let's see. So you cannot have a variable name as b, c at, 1 2, equal, something any value. You cannot have a variable name like this, it will throw you in error. Or, you cannot even have a variable like b, c, dot, l, equal 30. Even this will throw you in an error. But instead if you write b, c, underscore, l, this would be perfectly fine. Next is keyword should not be used as an identifier name. This I told you earlier also, it's like if you are mentioning some keywords like if equal 20. Obviously this will tell you an error. Or you are writing while equal 20. Then this will give you an error. You cannot use any keyword as a name of an identifier, a name of a variable, a class, object, or a function. Next is Python is case sensitive. That is var with capital V and var with small v are two different identifier. Let me show you this. Suppose I mentioned x equal 30 and capital X equal 40. So what do you think the value should be if I print x? Would it be updated to 40 or what would be same as 30? Well, let's see. So the output is 30. So it means that small x or the x in smaller case and x in uppercase both are treated differently in Python. So let's move ahead. Next. And the last one is first character of an identifier can be a character underscore, but not digit. Well, what does this mean? 1 2, b, c, equal 10. This is wrong. 14 at, a bc, equals something. Given this is wrong. But what you can do instead, you just specify underscore before this. Underscore, 14 a bc, without the agreed part is no special character, other than unless code is allowed. Equal 10. So this thing would be accepted without any error. Fine. So this was all about the identifiers. Next comes the literals. Well, literals are the constant use in Python. Or you can see that literals are the data given in a variable or a constant. Basically there are three types of literals. String literals, numeric literals, and boolean literals. Let's have a look at them one by one. Starting with string literals. Well, you can create a string literals just by enclosing a text within the code. Both single and double quotes are allowed in a string literals. For example, you can have a variable as name1 equal double quotes goOgluCk, and you can even have a variable as name2 equal within single quotes goOgluCk, or maybe Mark. Aren't getting any error, right? So since you are not getting any error in the output, so it verifies that you can use both the single and double quotes in string literals. Okay. Now what if you have multiple line input? So how are you print that? Let's see from multiple line input. Multi-line equal. So all you need to do is mention 3 single quotes. Just 3. And after that start writing like name1. Enter different line name2. Line 3, name 3. And again you two ended using 3 quotes. Fine. Executed. You won't get any error. And if you print a multi-line, you get the output as name 1, name 2, name 3 in 3 different lines. Let's get back to our tutorial. Fine. So this was about the string literals. Later in this session we'll see what are the various of the function you can perform on these string literals using some of the Python existing library. For now let's move ahead and let me give you an overview of numeric literals. So what are these numeric literals? A numeric literals is a character string whose characters are selected from the budgets 0 to 9. It consists of 4 assigned character. It can be either positive or negative. Or it can even contain a decimal point. Well, if the little contains no decimal point, then it means that it's an integer. If your number is too long and we are capital L or small l at the end of the number, it makes it a long number. Or if it contains a decimal point, it becomes a float. But yes, remember that you can only use 1 decimal point in a number. Have you ever seen a number with more than 1 decimal point? Never. Right. By the way, in Python the value of integer is not restricted by the number of bit. It can expand to the limit of the available memory. And since the value of the integer depends on the available memory, so no special arrangement was made in Python for storing large number. So, any doubt up to this portion? Well, if you have, please add it in the comments section below. So moving on ahead. Next we have is the boolean literals. Well, these boolean literals have just 2 values, either true or false. Well, remember that both these true and false are also keyword. So you cannot use them as an identifier. They are generally used when we are dealing with some condition whose outcome is either true or false. Alright. So this was about boolean literals. So I hope that you guys have understood about literals. So this was all for this session. We learned about various Python and different Python tokens like keywords, literals, identified. So one of the Python tokens, that is operate, is missing up here. So we'll be covering it in the next session. Thank you.